Well, I knew once he saw that he was gonna be looking at it.
It's too fancy though.
Yeah, it's too fancy for me.
Yeah, what you use for your podcast host?
I needed a cue card to sign in. You know, with all our old guests, boy.
Yeah, we got old people.
They
this too complicated.
Could you imagine trying to get Chuck to scan this cue card? What?
Man.
Well, then it said choose your microphone.
You
forget about that.
That's too complicated, bro.
What do you guys go through?
Zoom. Everybody use Zoom.
Yeah. That's like Gerald Talk.
That's right.
I couldn't even get it connected to my computer. I had to turn this mess on my iPad.
Wow. Okay. All right. So who's the main person out of your group that conducts your meeting? The voice. Who's the voice of your podcast?
Well, I'll go ahead and help out there. So, as far as the structure, it's probably me. But as far as doing interviews and the content, it's Cravon.
Okay.
Cravon got the 3-minute question when he interviewing. So
we gotta help him prompt him up and kind of shorten it up for him.
Yeah, he was originally the face because we chose him because he was the Power 5 official, and they ain't know me and Monty. They'll know Cravon because they see him on TV. That's why it wasn't like he asked great questions. It was just because the recognition.
Oh, okay. So. Okay.
Don't be quiet now, bro.
That's right.
I'm just waiting to see who cuss first. That's all.
Nah, man.
Oh, okay.
We want a clean show.
Ashanti,
I'm gonna your show.
No, this is a clean show. I mean, it's pretty much clean, man. You know, if you guys slip, then it's okay as long as you keep it. You don't go south on me. Okay.
Oh no, you don't have to worry about that. We don't. Our number one motto is don't get fired on your day off.
Because I can I don't even know you. I only know Monty. I don't even know you. I can see right now Asante be acting up a little bit.
You got that right already. You got that right already.
Right out the bat.
You're like Shannon Sharp.
Right. Right.
Undisputed.
Bully.
Really?
Come on, man. He read you
I'm
like
just
a
looking
book.
at you, man. I'm trying to read you, and I can just tell, man. You be acting up sometimes.
I don't do nothing, man. I'm a victim, bro.
Sometimes.
You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes, huh?
Like,
man, this is 3 minutes in.
Right.
Everybody remember this. 3 minutes in, and you can read them to a T.
But my motto is shoot first. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Shoot first.
Okay. So then, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and start asking these questions. I'm going to just go ahead and it looks like Hollywood Squares right now. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the very top. To you, Asante, Jordan. How about this? Well, you know what? Because you don't book the guests.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we all book. We all take a stance in booking the guests.
Okay, so you guys pretty much split everything up as far as the roles.
Somewhat.
I don't do anything technical. No,
Yeah, Cravon a non-technical guy, but
I do
between
nothing technical. That's all on them. I just come up with some random ideas, and I hope they can figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll just put it this way: instead of just asking a single person, I'll put the question out there, and then one of you guys can answer it. Who you think is going to be the best fit to answer? So we'll go like this. How did you three come up with the idea of the unofficial podcast for your podcast show?
Well, I think it started out more as it started out, I really say we was going to do training videos for officiating. That's really where we started out. We saw
it was going to be so boring.
No, what happened? Cravon took 2 weeks to do his audio.
Right. We spent like a week putting together a video, then it took me about a month to put the audio on top of it. And we said, nah, this ain't going to work because too many people were trying to do that already. And so we were just messing around. This is right as COVID was happening, I would say. and came up with the idea of how about we just do a podcast that we just talk about officials' lives away from the field or the court, and kind of went from there.
So everything I would assume was remote.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have only, out of our 3 seasons now, we've only done 2 shows in person.
And then like that first, like you said, that first month, we had a couple of dry runs. Like Monty was trying to tweak it in. He thought he was a real producer. So we did,
well,
we did like
I would say it was less about producing. It was more about commitment. I had to make sure these jokers were committed because everybody says, hey, we're going to start a podcast. We're going to start a podcast.
We did like 15 practice shows, and then we drove all the way to Lompoc just to do a show. And that how the name came about was one of Monty's friends. We were just chilling, and soon as I don't know what I said to Chris. Yeah, I don't know what I said to Chris, but he had that same response you did when he met me. You know what I'm saying?
Troublemaker.
Huh?
And then Chris, I don't know what we was calling it, but then Chris was like, "Man, the way y'all kicking it, y'all, it should be the unofficial lounge," and then that's how the name.
Because we had made up a couple of logos. It was the officials lounge.
Yeah, right. And he was like, the way we was talking, it was a couple of drinks. You know how Monty drank that gentleman crap. So,
yeah.
And that's how it started from there. And so from June again, Monty still had it. He was running us like Joe Jackson. Right? That's how bad it was, bro.
Well, we right here next to Neverland. So.
He was like, Joe,
the best.
We got to tweak it. Now we got to time it. It was like, man. And then once we dropped that first episode, we all was kind of leery about the process. But then when we had our first guest, DJ Daryl Johnson, he was the first person we interviewed. And when we was talking to him, he was like, hey, man, it's a good thing. And then once we started releasing it, that's when it's like, okay, we got something.
So when you went to, how you said, Lompoc.
The middle of nowhere.
Lompoc, So that was the only time you guys came together as a group, kind of like New Edition. Y'all like a New Edition right now. Bobby Brown up at the top.
Yep. Our very first show was recorded in person, and then now our first show of season 3 was the only other show.
Yeah, we did a teaser.
Mm-hmm.
How many episodes in the season?
About 25.
Okay.
Monty liked to rebrand some episodes, right. Repurpose some episodes.
So, gotta use that content.
Okay. So how do you guys find guests when you guys are booking a guest? How do you guys? Is it people you already know? Is it people that reached out to you? What was your ways of finding guests?
Trayvon.
I would say at first, right? Yeah. I would say at first, being that I'm the most experienced when it comes to officiating out of the 3 of us, it was initially me, but then we really started leveraging our guest Chuck Stewart, who's a friend of the show. If we had a 4th member, it would be Chuck Stewart as part of the show. He's been great to leverage as far as opening the doors for a lot of different people as far as guests. And then now that the world is starting to open back up, especially, nothing on Monty, but, he got about 15 different jobs and stuff. So he doesn't get out to see the people as much as me and Ashante do. So now that me and Ashante are more out about, me and him really tag team at different events to get other guests lined up. And Ashante usually tell me, nah, we don't want that person. I'd be like, how about this person? Bro. Nah, we don't want that person.
Because Craymon talk too much. They hear his voice. And they was like, oh, Craymon. Right? But to go back, it originally started with the first, if we can get the people we know, right? That's how it started. And then we started branching from them. Like, hey, is this somebody you would think of? So
yeah, because I lob up ideas and they get voted down so quick.
Oh yeah, yeah. Monty be coming up with the most random stuff.
Hey, but that's what makes it unique.
This was one of them because I was like, "What the hell, Monty doing again?" So
Yeah, that was he took about a 30-minute phone call to justify that. Like, oh, okay, it
yeah,
makes
I was
sense.
like,
It makes sense. It makes sense. Okay.
did he give Monty an extra chip at the casino or something?
Right. he bought
Right.
an extra bottle of wine at the bar.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he didn't do you any good. He was like, hey man, this person interviewing. At first I was like, because it's normally officiating or somebody around it or the sport. So he just dropped your name, and no offense, I was like, man, who is that? And that's when he sent all your information.
And I was like,
I
oh,
got
okay.
you.
And
I
then
got you.
then going to your website, I was like, okay, this would be a good fit. And that was
Yeah.
another thing that was funny when we first started. We didn't know what direction we would take the show because things was happening, you know what I'm saying, during the pandemic around George Floyd and, you know what I'm saying, all that. So we we had to keep the balance of being neutral.
Two people started to get cold feet. They started to get nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I called Monty up and I was like, you remember back in the days in high school when you still owe me lunch money? So this is kind of like a thing that, hey, okay, man, we'll do this show for you, man. We call it even. We even now.
That's right.
There we go.
So, your show, who would you say, have you had any high profile individual guests?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've had some great guests. I mean, all of them in our world of officiating is high profile, but for the mainstream of people that would know just fandom, I would say Dean Blandino of Fox Sports is a big name that people recognize because he's heavy on Twitter and on Sunday football and college football as well. So he's the face of Fox when it comes to officiating. We've had on the show. I think outside of officiating, if y'all can disagree with me, I would probably say he's the biggest name that just regular sports enthusiasts may know. We've had championship experience officials on our show. We've had a lot. They're all big to us because we live in that world. To somebody else that doesn't live in the world, it may not be names that they recognize, but for us, they're all people that we look up to and try to take stuff from.
I try and keep it interesting.
No, you don't.
Yeah. Oh man, we had the first black player to ever play in the SEC, Wilbur Hackett. So I thought that was impressive.
First black football player played at Kentucky.
Yeah.
So, but we had two though, right? We had when we got Byron Boston. He's somewhat.
I would say Byron Boston was the show that we did once we got him on, and the show turned out to be so good. The three of us, after it was over, really realized like, oh, we really got something here. We got Byron Boston on the show, 3-time Super Bowl official, and he was just candid and live with us and just really flowed with the show. I think right then is when we knew, okay, it's something. We're doing something right.
And we got somebody who we normally see that doesn't smile or laugh.
Right.
He was smiling.
Right. And laughing. And harassing Ashanti before it was over, which anytime we can get somebody to harass Ashanti,
I don't recall that, brother.
We know it's a good show.
Props. And then the one, too, that stands out to our first season was we had a fellow official, may rest in peace, Scott Teifer.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
He was battling cancer. So, and what stands out with that one is after he passed away, his daughter reached out and asked for the audio because she found the clip. And that right there was like, that's something too, like we share a brotherhood and we was able, share his story of how he got in officiating and the impact of what it did to him, how it changed his life. And so.
And another cool thing about Scott Teifer was, I believe, Monty, you sent the unedited version where he was really talking in detail about how proud he was of his daughters and everything else.
Oh yeah.
So I think this as a person going through that, your father passes away, to actually hear the audio of him talking about how proud he is of his kids. I think that was just absolutely amazing for, a guy we all loved.
And he had a dog too. His dog barked.
Right.
In the background.
Right. And he fussed at me for looking at the Laker game. That was pretty fun.
Okay. That was pretty.
That was good.
I'm just leave that alone.
Yeah, I forgot about
that. Was wrong.
But that was Scott. That was my man.
Was there any type of setbacks that you had from when you first started up to now?
Monty picking up 14 jobs.
No,
Monty's Jamaican.
Man, I got to get it.
I think
I would say the biggest setbacks are time. Just so all three of us work as practicing officials, and so once the football season starts, now we try before the season to get as many interviews as we can in, but now it's really a rush to try and finish up.
Oh, I got you.
so. I think too. One of them was when we first started. One of the original setback also too is because we're all on the West Coast. It's getting the officials on the East Coast to be on certain time. You know what I'm saying? Trying to talk.
Yeah.
That's more convenient because we got real jobs, and I ain't losing no money to talk on no podcast. So that was the one setback, and just getting Cravon to stop asking them long questions.
Oh man. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and switch the tables and talk about the refereeing, because I have to give much love and respect for referees. I tried doing like a basketball fill-in type at the rec center, and man, I tell you one thing, man, I had to bite my tongue so many times, it was ridiculous. And to see that, especially watching TV, watching basketball, not so much as football, because it seems like basketball they argue more with the refs than they do with.
Well, they right up on you.
You're closer to them,
and everybody know what they think a foul is.
right?
So let's go into the refereeing and when did you guys first, or how about asking each one of you, when was your first start as being a referee?
Go ahead, Monty.
So mine was about 15 years ago, and I was at a wedding, and a person who was there was a fellow named Bobby Kennedy. He was the instructional chair for all the high school associations in the area. And then basically just after a couple drinks, I agreed to come in and ref. And once I started reffing, I was just reffing Pop Warner, starting at the bottom like everybody else through high school and on to junior college. Just after a while, you make a decision if you want to keep going or not, and I just kept going.
Wow,
Okay.
Monty, that was beautiful. That was beautiful.
Yeah, that was
Thank you,
that was just woo. That was enlightening.
You said a 20-minute version on episode 1, but I like how you kept that one short.
Well, this is brief and to the point. Well, what about you?
Oh, so my story was a little different. I was me and Monty.
I was talking to Cravon.
Oh, my bad.
We'll go. Go ahead, Shotzi.
You said you.
Nah, go
But
ahead. Go
I
ahead.
like to always
I'm messing with you.
on the show. We always mess with officials because me and Monty was full-fledged adults out of our mama house when we started this profession, right? And so I was just moved to California, and I think my second or third year here, I think just leaving work and talking to a coworker, and it's like I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like far as I knew about officiating, but I always thought it'd be interesting, but I didn't know how anybody. It's almost like a secret society to get involved in it. But once you find that one person, they'll tell you to go to a meeting. So my story was he called somebody at 4:30. That person said, be there at 6 o'clock at a meeting.
Bring your checkbook.
They didn't tell me to bring a checkbook, but I showed up with my checkbook just in case. And dude, they hit me up for $105. No questions. Didn't say anything. And I'm like, I paid it, but I was like, this got to be a scam. And like I did it one year, like my first year because of the job, I couldn't get off that much, but I did like 4 games. Then the second year, like I said, my first game was with Cravon. My second year, I'm like, okay. I was like, let me see if I can take this serious. Started following Cravon, going to his games, and that's when he talked about moving up, progressing far as college, because I was just trying to be a mediocre high school official.
And you still are.
But to go back to something you said, like I didn't do Pop Warner, but the couple of times I did it, I had those incidences where we ended the game. I'm going to get some chips or something. And dude just walk up to me like, hey, man, you blew that call. And I'm just looking at him like, this the time you going to sell this to me? Then another instance, a lady walked up talking about why her baby wasn't playing. And I was like, I can't do this no more. But yeah, that's how I started out. And I was like, I knew I didn't want to do Pop Warner. So I was like, okay, college is a better bet. And they don't talk to you as crazy, but they try to. So,
so for me, Ashanti always make the joke and clown me because I was much younger when they started and I was still at home.
This mama house.
Yeah, I was still 18 years old, so I hadn't quite moved out the house yet. I was volunteer coaching at the youth level, and a really good friend, and before that, teacher of mine, Moses Primus, came to me doing one of the youth games I was working and said, do you want to keep on coming out here for free, or do you want to make some money to come out here? And being 18, you said I can make some money. Told me to go to the same meeting Ashanti showed up to. It was just probably 10 years earlier, if not more. Went to that meeting, walked into the meeting with a bunch of middle-aged, mostly white, men, intimidated, but sat in the back of the room, hated it that first year, couldn't stand it whatsoever, getting yelled at and everything else. Actually was thinking about taking the next season off until I would say my first mentor stepped up, Herman Lewis, and called me and said, hey, you come back next year, I'll walk you through the process myself. And it's been on and popping since then, since 1998.
So is college the stop zone? Is that like the max you will go? Would you guys go further up from college, or is that something you have to, is it something, because the way I'm looking at it from the outside, refereeing is kind of like you said, like a little secret society. So then you guys, is it based on seniority? Is it kind of like how that goes to step up?
Not at all. Not at all, and we all kind of sitting here smirking right now because there's
I'm
no
looking right at Ashanti right now.
Right. There's no exact.
I'm trying not to get fined.
Right. There's no exact roadmap of moving up and how exactly you do it. Everybody has a little different paths. That's kind of like our main topic on our show, is that we talk about officials, the different ways they came up, the timeline, and so on. So you look at the three of us, we all came at it in a different time, and our promotions up was totally different. Mine's, I was a lot younger. Nobody around me when I first started it exposed me to even that I even knew college football existed. I just thought it was just high school and youth. And I was probably doing it 4 or 5 years before I'd even realized that college was even an opportunity, compared to Ashanti coming in at a meeting that I was already at and me saying, hey, you want to come to these meetings with me? I go down to, I go to LA. You want to come to these meetings? And he was exposed to it a lot earlier in his career than I was. So everybody has a little different roadmap, and we all would like to go to the highest level as we possibly can, which is the NFL. But, you just got to do what you can do, take care of the responsibilities that you have, and hope and pray for the best. There's no real perfect roadmap to it.
But at each level, the door gets smaller.
Right.
Like that person, like it's harder to get in, like to find that entrance, but the door gets small. Like it was cool either for somebody to tell me to get high school, but once you get high school and the college is almost a separation, where with some of the high school officials, they think if you're doing college, you're trying to big time show them up. And then when you get to college, it's like you got guys, okay, now you get inside college, and there's different levels, the JUCO, Division III, and all that. And there's all different conferences and different ways to get into those conferences, but there's no one, no one direct path to it, no one road. So it's all secret society almost, even to where we're at, like how Cravon got in the Pac-12, or me and Monty, Monty got in the Pac-12 the same way, like secret society.
It ain't
I
that
think
quite. It ain't that quite.
It ain't that close
It ain't
and
that.
dagger.
It ain't that
his
quite.
name, his
Secret
ink still,
society.
the ink still wet on Monty name.
but I will say, and and Monty can speak to it itself. 6 months ago, Monty's feelings about where his officiating career was going was totally different than today.
I ain't got no friends.
Right. Nobody looking out for me.
He was playing hit 'em up every day.
Right, to where
it's real.
To where it was probably, I would say, 2 years ago, me being the more hopeful person of the group, and like, hey guys, I really gave Monty, and correct me if I'm wrong, Monty, I gave you a roadmap of exactly what was going to happen.
He did
2 years ago when we were walking through Houston Airport, like, hey, we need this, and this to happen, and then boom, it's going to pop. And he was going crazy like it wasn't going to happen, and then boom, it popped, and now he ain't stopped smiling since what day you get the call?
He know what day.
Man, that was a blur. I started drinking.
He was drinking and crying at the same time.
Right.
Do you guys feel, and you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but do you guys feel that maybe your skin color kind of was in the way of you reaching certain levels, or is it somewhere where it's mutual respect for each other?
At this level, you got to be able to do the work.
Monty gonna give the politically correct answer. I wouldn't say that it keeps it from us, like they're trying to keep blacks and minorities out of it, but the amount of opportunity, the amount of access is a lot different for us than it is for others. So it's not like they're somebody's trying to purposely keep us out, but the access that we have to it.
I wouldn't even say it's not the access; it's called the process.
Right, to it.
Because the process is you got to go to these camps, which cost $1,000,
right, minimum
each.
But no, you got to get to that point. Like I said, I was at a meeting with Cravon. Think about it. If Cravon at that meeting, I wouldn't be right here because it'd have been
correct. Right? Nobody would have even told him, "Hey, you had to go."
JC.
You had to go to this other meeting to start doing college football, right? Because every group does it a little bit differently. I think, Monty, your group, the high school and college, is a little bit more connected than like our group. Our group, it was totally separate.
Yeah. There was nobody other than Cravon and a couple of guys who were doing junior college ball, but it's like they wasn't trying to share the information. You know what I'm saying? So
because you get fired when you say something in the meeting about you doing college, they kick you out the group. Which
but it was those guys who knew. It's like, hey man, just come to a meeting because there's nothing wrong with me telling you how to get it. I just, as somebody told me, but you ain't gonna work as hard, outwork me. You know what I'm saying? I can take you to the meeting,
right?
But and Cravon bring up this story. Cravon told me about the meeting. I had to show Cravon that I was serious by going to different meetings, and he's like, "Okay, you serious about this?" He's like, "Oh yeah, we got meetings in the spring," and I'm like, "All right." Reached out. He's like, he never said anything. So I was like, I went to my own different college meeting, and then a couple of them, and he's like, "All right, you serious about this? Yeah, you can get in the car with us."
And that's what I say. I don't think it's anybody trying to hold you back, but I think it's the process.
Right.
If you don't, if there's no one there to mentor you through the process, you're just you're showing up to places where you're unwelcome. I won't even say unwelcome. You're just not known, and if you're not known, it ain't gonna work.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
It's really a fraternity, right? And in order for you to get in that fraternity, somebody's going to have to vouch for you, right? And each fraternity has their own hazing, their own line you have to stand. There's no exact rule to any fraternity house, or even if you're in the same, chapter of fraternity, but you're in different schools, it's just how it goes.
What's the most common mistakes a referee do?
Mess up off the field, something.
Sign up.
Hey, so when you mess up on the field, does that financially hurt you?
You can you can get suspended.
Yes,
you can get suspended to where you get set down at home.
Right.
Yeah. If the problem
you get paid by game check.
Right.
You don't work a game, you don't get paid.
Yeah. So if it's big enough and you're on that TV screen and it's something that's replayed, and depending on the certain level you at, some people are not able to overcome that one mistake, and so they get pushed to the side. But like Cravon said, if you mess up in the off season, like by doing stupid stuff, you ain't nothing to replace that. Like you just out. So
right.
So okay, so I'm gonna bring up an instance I just watched. Last was it? Yeah, last Thursday was it? No, Saturday. It was Saturday. I was watching the Niners game, and right at the goal line.
It's preseason, Jack. Don't worry about it. It's preseason. They get to make mistakes.
Oh yeah, is that
no?
Is
Go
that
ahead. Let him ask the question. Let him ask the question.
So okay, suppose this was a regular season, and it was like clear and evident the guy was offsides, but no refs called it, and it went from third down to fourth down. So who's responsible? Is it everybody has their own roles, right?
Yep,
that's right.
And so the person who missed his role, and then the commentator, I mean, for like 2 or 3 minutes, kept saying, "Oh my God, they couldn't see it." So now, when you guys was talking about, as I asked you earlier, the kind of mistakes, now is that something that will cost you a game and not come back for a couple of days or a couple of games, or is that something that don't let it happen again?
Well,
when is that
depending on what level you're at. So NFL, major college football, even at the community college level of football, everybody is graded at some point, at somehow, some way, and depending on your level, the grading is a little bit more exact in it than other levels. So if you miss something like that, you'll get a bad grade, right? Instead of getting, you'll get a negative score in a sense on that call. You're not going to get in trouble per se to where you're going to get suspended or lose a game for missing something like that. But if it starts stacking up on you and you keep making the same mistakes, then that can be something that causes you to, lose a game or, not being brought back the following year. So as far as a fan, they look at it as, that's something huge. They miss it, and commentators, they just like to talk. They just like to find something to talk about, especially if it's a game that's not that important or not that entertaining. They got to keep on having something to talk about. They need content. So that may have been the only thing really going on in the game. So the commentator just keeps on talking about it. If it's a really entertaining game, something like that happens, they'll forget about it after 1 or 2 plays and move on from it.
Okay.
But yeah, the officials are graded, so It's not like we walk away from the game, and it's not like where in basketball you got in the NBA the last 2 minutes. No, we're graded from when we get off the plane, right, until we
what you wearing,
get to the game, and how we interact in the pregame. Everything is with football is watched up until you leave.
Correct.
Like,
how you treat the hotel staff. I mean. Those are the type of stuff that can get you. I've in my history of seeing people not being brought back, it's more about somebody's conduct off the field than on the field. If it's something on the field, then that means it's been something that's just continuous, and they're just not improving. Or a lot of it has to do with fitness now and look. Right, you get to be too overweight. Something like that could be something that brings you back. But it's more the stuff that you do off the field that can get you terminated or not rehired than mistakes on the field.
Makes sense. All right.
So you must have been a 49er fan, I take it. That must have
been. No, yeah, I'm still am. So, yeah.
Sorry for your loss, man.
It's okay though. It's just like you said, preseason, right?
Okay. Garoppolo gonna play
with another team.
They gonna have to cut him at some point. Ain't nobody gonna pick up that 19 mil.
He'll be gone before the first game.
Yeah,
He'll be gone.
He'll be in Seattle in a couple weeks.
I don't know about Seattle, but he'll be somewhere. He'll be somewhere. I'm guessing. I'm guessing probably.
He ain't going to the Browns.
He ain't going to the Browns.
You sure about that?
He ain't going to the Browns.
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay.
Because
They only got 11 games. The word sit that out.
and then plus he wants to go somewhere that he feels he's got to. He's got to go somewhere where he think he can keep on playing even after the season. He ain't playing at the Browns after 11 games.
Right.
Gotcha. Go. All right. So, well, I'm going to wrap it up here. So one more question I want to ask, and I just want you guys to be more, open-minded for others who, possibly get inspired by this podcast here. What advice would you give to someone who is interested in becoming a referee and want to go up those chains? And what are the type of benefits that you guys have, as in, I mean, is the benefits for, what you guys are doing? Is that why you're there? Or is it because you love the game and you love officiating?
That's a multifaceted question, right?
Yeah.
But the first part is when we all started, somebody walked up to us at certain points and said, hey, if you want to continue this, you got to make sure a couple of things. Your family's straight, if you're married. Your job is straight, which allows you to travel. Take off the free time, because it's not like we got to do scrimmages during the week to have free time to do this. And it's almost like a financial burden, because sometimes we get paid after the fact. So you put up upfront money. So you got to make sure everything is straight. So that's how somebody because if you come to me off the rip and say, hey man, how do I get into the SWAC? I know you're not serious, right? Because now I know you're just trying to get somewhere. You're not trying to put in that grind. So you can, for me, they don't talk to me. They talk to Cravon. Cravon is a better seller, because I'm not going to tell you how to, it's hard to get where I'm at. You just got to start, is what I would tell somebody.
But Ashanti want to continue to make it hard for them.
Because you can't even ask me for money. Now you ask me for money, I'm going to push you through that.
But I mean, I would say this is, first of all, if anybody's a lover of any sport, the best way to stay involved in that sport is through officiating. Then once you get into officiating, you have to decide on, do you actually want it to just be a hobby to where you're just doing youth and in high school, some local stuff around town, or do you want to take the opportunity to where it can actually become an additional career? I think the three of us now are at a point to where it's an additional career. At one point in my life, just because I came into it at different situations in Ashanti and Monty, where it was like my number one. This has never been their number one. At one point in time, this was my number one, and then I knew that couldn't be the case, and I had to transition from that.
But you got fired for doing a football game,
correct?
Because that time and job aspect of it,
right. But that's what I'm saying. That's when it became my number one. When I left an actual 9 to 5 to go work a game, it was like, oh, this is my number one thing. This wasn't just something on the side, even though at that time it was still paying like it was something on the side. So I had to do a bunch of other stuff to make things happen, which I did. But as Ashanti said, there's a lot of different levels to it. And I think that's where people don't understand and that's really what our show, The Unofficial Lounge, is trying to show people, is that it's a lot more than everybody that you see out there on Sundays or Saturdays on TV. Those men and women have put a lot of work in, sometimes 40, 60 hours during the week, prepping for that game. It's not just we just have a bunch of uniforms that we picked up from Foot Locker and going out there and working games. We putting time into it, and depending on how serious you want to take it, it can take you a lot of different things. I know for me, I've been able to travel the United States and the world because of football. I've been very blessed with that. I've been to different countries for it. Majority of the states I've gone to is because of football. Somebody's paying me. There's no other reason for me to go to Montana other than somebody was giving me a check to be there. Okay. Pocatello, Idaho, or wherever I was. It's no reason for my butt to be out there other than going, it's cool. I wouldn't go back, but it was only reason I was there because of football. And then it's also, you wouldn't get to meet the people that you have met. 90% of the people that I talk to on a daily basis that don't pay me money is all football people. It's all football people. People I consider friends are all football people, period.
And it's kind of weird too, because this is the only time where I could say with officiating, where how they say it's hard to make friends, where you can make that adult friends at this life, because there's people that care about you. You know what I'm saying? And then one of the perks is, like, although I give Cravon a hard time, is seeing Cravon work a semifinal or knowing the officials on the game. That's the perk of when you're watching games now. For me, I don't watch them to see if they make a mistake. It's like I'm watching the game because I know who's doing that game. And for me, some of the perks that people don't understand, because we travel a lot, for me, I went from group 8.
He went from Ashley to classy.
Ashley to classy, but group 8 to group 2. But the common misconception is too about football is this college football officials, this is not their primary job, right?
Right.
So some people think, because when my coworkers found out I was probably, you know what I'm saying, where I'm at in the SWAC, they were like, "Oh, you gonna quit your job?" I'm like, "Dude, they don't pay me enough for that." Like,
right.
Like, my job paid me to look good. Football just paid me, you know what I'm saying, to fly, you know what I'm saying, to eat a little better. So
I would just say the biggest thing, though, is if you are going to get into this, it's something I had to learn, was you got to be able to communicate and get a mentor and communicate with those mentors. Like Cravon said, I'm trying. Hey, man. Hey, it's like getting graded on that field. But like they say, we got someone in our back pocket who actually cared to give time back to us. I call him that Chuck Stewart. He worked in the NFL for 20 years. He doesn't have to deal with us. Ain't got no reason to deal with us except that he's giving back, and that's what you got to find. But I think that what they're saying is a really good point. Is you got to make that decision, number one, of how far you want to try and take it. And the bigger thing than that is there ain't no guarantees.
Yeah, how long you was driving from where you was at making what? We was making 140?
140. It was a 3-hour drive to LA in the traffic, guaranteed every weekend for $140. And that was weekend after weekend after weekend. So by the time I got there, did the game, got something to eat after the game, drove back, I think I'd minus the jacks, I probably made $20. but now I've spent 10 hours of my life driving up and down the coast doing these games. But what came out of that is I met Ashante, I met Cravon. And that's something that unless you understand what we're going through and you're going through it, you don't see that it's worth it.
Yeah, I think, it'd have been crazy if we both would have been on different crews that first year. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I think that's one of the things that propelled us, is because now you got someone that you're doing this with together.
Y'all got to do it together. I was solo.
Yeah. Right. Solo dolo.
Driving all over Southern California by myself, trying to figure it out. But it's, as Ashanti say, it's great seeing people that you know working, big time games. But I have been blessed now and have the opportunity now to where I get to see people that I've helped them get to where they are. And that's just as cool for me to seeing, like, okay, these dudes is working and I helped them get there. And now we doing this. And it's like, who's the next one? Who's the next one? Who's the next one? How do we get more people into this to realize that it is something that can deliver a lot to you if you put something into it.
Gotcha. Well, that gives me a whole insight of what you guys do, and I know it has its highs and lows, and I always want to know one thing, man. Did everybody have that same referee voice?
Holding, number 57,
right?
Offense.
It's a
That's
cadence.
a 10-yard penalty.
It's a cadence.
Repeat
to
second
it.
down.
Right. It's definitely a cadence to it, but the better ones, especially the white hats that get to make the announcements, some of them, the better ones, I would say better just because they have more personality on the mic and they really know how to command and control the mic. But it's really just a cadence to it.
Okay. I just wanted to know that.
Say less so you don't mess up. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Say less.
All right, man. Well, I really do appreciate you guys being able to get together and learn a little bit about what you guys do, and now I know a little bit about your profession, your secret society. It's almost like that. What's that one movie? The Distinguished Men, the one that goes into that little. They wear the suits.
Haberdashery.
Yeah, what was that movie? Yeah, they had versions of that. I know.
I forgot the name of it too. But they, what I'm talking about. They all come in suits.
That must be an old movie.
No, it's a new one.
The Kingsman.
The Kingsman.
Oh, okay.
You're right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody tap you. At first, dudes go to that little orientate. You're right. It's definitely like that.
Yeah. That's what sound kind of like something similar to that. Yeah, but
so Terrell, next time you're up on the coast, make sure you come on out to the PCH Street Lounge. We got that beer and wine lounge. Come on out. Don't forget about that.
Free advertising. I like how you split that in there. But I will definitely.
We got it.
We have an unofficial red, right, Monty?
Unofficial red. So
okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So if you want to taste our hard sweat,
I'll pass on that.
No, this is
our sweat and tears is in there.
This is a real wine. No one stepped on the grapes in a tub, and this is not repackaged $2 Chuck. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah.
I'll drink one now. I'll be doing cadence. Out of bounds.
Right.
DUI.
Right.
You got a DUI.
0.08 blood alcohol level.
Right. Yeah, you start hanging out with us, you'll start looking at all the games differently. I tell you that much.
That was one thing too. When we first started, we used to have a drink with the guests, and then I realized listening to some of those episodes that I was like 4 or 5 drinks in. I was like, I don't drink anymore when I interview now. Cravon does, but I don't.
I saw that. I was like, is that drink or is that Kool-Aid?
A little bit of both.
So again, I truly, on the serious tip now, I really appreciate it. I'm trying to develop a website, a community, for a Black community, for everybody to showcase their talents, their, just a lot of different things. And I will try my best to promote PCH, the unofficial lounge, and to get people to at least, kind of listen in on your podcast and kind of, see what the swag and everything is and learn from it, because I'm pretty sure your podcast is a little bit entertainment, but then a little bit about, sharing your journey. That's what I'm kind of feeling from everybody's, the way everybody's saying. So again, I appreciate it. And if you guys can do me a favor, if you guys can, and I'll hit you guys up with the email. If you guys can send me some kind of some photos and something so I can use it. Hey, why?
This is the funny thing. This is the funny thing, man. The times we be together, no one thinks Monty is the most Instagram person, right? But we don't have there's no photos of all 3 of us together, right?
But there's a I don't know if we still recording, but the issue with that is in officiating, because of what we're doing, there is this somewhat, I won't even call it an unwritten rule, because they tell it to you all the time, is, hey, you don't want to have photos of this, you don't want to be on Instagram, you don't want to do this.
But together. We could have just been sitting down in the lobby,
Right?
But we didn't think no one, because like you said, Monty said it'd be because of officiating the unwritten rule. We didn't think to do that. Like, we was talking to Dean Blandino. We have a Nike pullover. I kept saying let's get together with Dean, but I didn't know when was the appropriate time, because if someone would have saw us taking a picture with him, it would have got back that, hey, these guys are doing something for that show. So it's almost, so it's
like a conflict of interest.
Yeah, it's like, hey, why are they here? Which
I got you.
But we'll have some. I see we're gonna take photos that Saturday.
We'll get something.
Oh yeah, there we go.
We're gonna have photos Saturday because we having an event that we're gonna be recording live together again, and so we'll have some photos. That way, you'll see pictures of us actually together.
Yeah, and I can go in and I can put that in my article and everything like that. And other than that, man, that's pretty much it. This won't debut until I launch my website, which is going to be on the 1st of October. And like I said, I'll make it extra fancy. I'm looking for some cut, maybe just 10% cut from each one of y'all. Promotion.
If you get that wine sold, we get you some.
Because the same time you ask for us, like, what's your Instagram? Because we got an Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook that we can also, push at the same time.
Yeah. And I can. Yeah, and actually, if once you get it recorded, you chop it up, give it to me, and we can post it as one of our shows too.
Okay.
I think that'll help us.
Monty trying to
round up the year.
See, that's how Monty.
Yeah, I'm trying. That's one less we got to do.
The one less episode. So, but once we do all that, it'll be a working, because I saw what you did. That we can push people to your website, towards your website, so we can have the same communication.
Yeah.
Hey man. Hey Mike Vick, you ain't got to. You over there fighting chihuahuas or something?
Y'all ain't supposed to see that now.
Yeah.
He acting up right now, man. I'm gonna have to let y'all go. Get my belt.
But yeah, as long as
just don't put him in the pool.
So.
Okay. So like I said, I'm gonna push you guys real heavy, just because me and Monty, we've been boys for a long time. Well, I don't think last time I saw you, man, was like high school. It's been a long time.
It's been a while. But shit, man. So I'm still here, still kicking. Yeah, that's all that counts.
Yeah. So where you at?
I'm in Terrell. Okay. Kevin Hart.
Right.
I'm over in Fresno.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you never left. Monty went to school there for like a half semester.
Oh yeah? You was in Fresno State?
Oh yeah, that's where I graduated.
Oh,
from.
okay.
Yeah. A long time ago.
Yeah.
2001.
Oh, Fresno. Whew.
Have you been there?
Man, my pops tried to get us to move there. My mom lasted 2 days. She said, "Nah, we gone."
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, I'm not from here. It's just like how y'all was talking, man. I'm not from here, but I've been here long enough. People said you from Fresno now.
Right.
Don't claim it, bro.
I'm not. I'm trying to.
Fresno cool. Fresno, all right in my book.
It's 105 over here right now.
Oh man, it was 68 today.
And it smelled like a dairy farm everywhere.
It smelled like shit everywhere. Shit everywhere. I had to check myself, make sure it wasn't me.
Wow.
Exactly.
All right, y'all. Well, thank you very much, and I'll get back with you guys, and y'all have a great one.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you,
All
Chief.
right. Thank you. All right.
Gone.